Since the reception for my last video was so amazing and fantastic and awesome even, I'm making another one. Also, I'm changing the background music because, apparently some people couldn't focus. So basically there's like two types of fights. There's a committed fight and an uncommitted fight. A committed fight is when you have no escape route and you are either taking the initiative to fight the enemy to the death, or you have to, like you're forced to do it and they're like peeking you or whatever. And you have like no other choice but to try and kill them. The no jumping thing I said in my video is basically applies to this fight, right? Like the committed fight, pretty much. Like if you're jumping instantly in a committed fight, you're probably dead, right? If if the guy's like very patient and he reads your movement well, yeah, you're probably gonna die because you're very easy to shoot. Typically, how I take my committed fights, which are usually very close quarters, is by holding W and AD strafing, right? While I'm shooting at them. So pretend this is an enemy. This is how I would like fight them. Yes. And the reason I do this is because of the mechanic in this game called, like, I don't know if it's the official name, but players I know call it hit compensation, but I usually just call it barrel stuffing. And it's this effect where there is basically a second crosshair. So if I'm aiming to the right of the enemy, because he's in the way between my barrel and crosshair, he's actually going to get hit. Since the character is on the left side of the screen, that means this effect only happens when you're actually aiming to the right of the enemy. So if I'm aiming to the left of the enemy, you won't see it as like as strong, right? So generally, when you're doing this, like way of like fighting people, you would rather miss on the right than the left, pretty much. I don't know how to explain it, but like obviously you don't want to intentionally miss the enemy, but if he's moving to the left, you have more leeway to undertrack them than when he's moving to the right. Another way that I can take committed fights is like a long strafe from cover, for example, right? Like say an enemy's like coming at me here and it's just him and I don't know there's no one there and no one else there, and pretty much sometimes to make it really easy for me to aim, I'll just like long strafe and I'll just try to track them as best I can so I can kill them, right? And if I'm on like a left hand and I want to take a committed fight, then I'll just walk out like this and just try to beam them. And another thing I want to add is you only want to be out of cover if you're looking to get a kill, pretty much. These types of fights are basically like when you chip enemies out, pretty much. And here you're not looking to get a kill or anything, you're kind of just looking to get damage, and if you find someone who is low enough to kill, you might peek out a bit longer and try to secure the kill, right? But there's always an escape route, and that's like the thing here. Sometimes you can go out of cover and there is an escape route, so you can turn that committed fight into a non-committed one, pretty much. But you have to recognize situations where you can and can't do that. Otherwise, it's just better to shoot your gun most of the time. Because if you try to like turn a fight that you committed into running away from your team, then that guy is going to be chasing after you now. And a lot of the times I see players who run away like too much and then they just die without ever going back to their team. So they just ran away for nothing, right? You would have been better off at least shooting your gun to do some damage to the enemy, right? So yeah, you want to pretty much just look to do damage and poke from a safe distance, like, right? Like try to shoot people who aren't looking at you when you're doing this type of like uncommitted fight, and when they look at you, you can just hide. You can just like sit here, wait for your teammates to draw their aggro or something, and then go back to shooting them once they like turn around again, you know? It's like it's very strong, and I think it's something people don't do enough in this game. Sometimes I see people who like stand outside for too long, out of cover, and they just get beamed and die, and like that's the first pick of the round, right? It can get very dangerous, especially if you're on defense versus attack, because like there's like 4 or 5 people like that could be staring at that angle, and you might just blow up. You know, you gotta be wary of how many people are looking at the angle you're peeking from. So you can take fights with any gun in this game from any range, but you just have to know what range your gun is the best at, right? Like, this is an SMG, right? So I shouldn't really be trying to take trades from a super far distance because my gun just does less damage. So if this guy is looking at me with like a DMR, then in my head, I'll know it's like pretty troll for me to just like fucking full beam, right? And like just like mag dump from here. But sometimes I'll still do it because, you know, it's fun and it's ego. But generally, you should know it's not a good thing to do. If they're looking at you. This is always like with the assumption they're looking at you. Like you can, if they're not looking at you, then it's always good to shoot for as long as you can until, you know, someone starts looking at you. Let's say, for example, I pick Chio, right? Like if someone is over there and that's like a Yvette fucking shooting at me, like I don't even have to hit the head. That guy just died, right? If I hit the head, that guy dies so much faster. You could die that fucking fast, but yeah. Compared to like how long it took for Yvette to kill someone at that range, like you will definitely blow up. So you generally want to stick to your effective range, and that's why when I play like these SMG characters, I usually do take committed fights, right? Because my gun is just generally going to be more effective, and I'll probably win. And that's like a rule of thumb in this game, pretty much. So jumping to commit to a fight is not a horrible idea, depending in the situation that you're in, or depending on the situation that you're in. And basically, for one, it's good if you're swinging with a teammate, because you'll probably win that fight, unless you guys both like miss horribly. And that's generally good. But let's say you're jumping and you're peeking against someone who has like, let's say like a right hand, right? Like, let's say I have this right hand. Then an enemy who's like jumping from the angle like this, and he's like taking it to he's committing to the fight, right? He's committing to the fight by jumping like full all the way out. Then it's not very good, right? Like, why would you do that? You would just get full beamed in this arc here. And the other option, if you're coming from this side, is to just jump like diagonally, which isn't so great either, honestly. Because you're still coming from an arc. It is a lot better, I will say, because in some cases it can be really hard to hit you if you're like very close to them. You're moving really fast. But you can stick as like a general idea that it's like not the best thing to do, right? But let's say I don't have this, I don't have like control of this right hand here, right? Like you throw a nade at me or something to get me off the angle, right? I like boom, you throw that nade, get me off the angle. So now I'm like back here because I like ran away. Then now it's actually not so bad to jump, because if I jump parallel, I can jump like this. That's actually very good, because I can jump, get a lot of damage, and I can glide back to cover. Or I can just jump, get a lot of damage, and since you're standing still and I'm moving, I generally have the advantage. So you have to track this, and I have to track this, right? It's very easy for the person who's moving. And once you do that, you can switch to the first thing that I talked about, which is AD strafing, like W AD strafing. So I do that, and then I do that. And then it's basically just a combination of those things. Right? And then you kill them, and you win. Amazing. Like, that's like a case where it's not bad to jump. But the thing I said in my video, to not jump, right? It's always, it's in these types of fights where you are very close and you're immediately jumping. Like, the keyword here is immediately, because you can like AD strafe and like jump at the end, because like if they're low, you know, it's like the last burst of movement, right? To throw them off just a bit, because it's like mixing up your movement. That's like not horrible to do. I do that a lot. I will mention that I do hip fire a lot, and it's probably because I play SMGs and stuff. But hip firing in general, I think, is actually quite strong, right? Like, it's pretty accurate. If you're standing still, like, it's more accurate than some people might give it credit for. I actually shoulder fire is like good to use around cover usually, in my opinion. Because shoulder firing in the open, like, you move really slow. So I don't really do that too much. So if I'm in the open, I like moving fast, so I hip fire a bit. And around a corner, I'll hip fire, probably shoulder fire more. And I'm jumping, ADS a lot of the time. Sometimes I'll shoulder fire. But yeah, just get used to like when you should switch between these three when you're fighting and stuff. Get used to the ADS, get used to using shoulder fire on corners, get used to hip firing people. And yeah.